This session is going to kind of give you a look at recording and uploading Zoom sessions into D2L. So I did create another video and I'm going to display it and talk over it again because, as we pointed out, we can't show you we can't record what is being seen on the host side of Zoom. So teaching Zoom through Zoom does have its limitations, which is why we created these videos. So just bear with us here while we get the video up and running, and we'll kind of walk you through what the next steps are in recording the Zoom session. There are two main ways that you can record Zoom sessions. And Joe did touch on one of the ways, and I'm going to just reiterate that again. And the first way is through the Zoom meeting menu. So when you first initially set up the Zoom meeting, you'll be displayed with this screen as we've seen, and you'll type in all the information and choose all of the settings that you want to set up for your Zoom. And you'll see at the bottom in the meeting options section that there's a selection that you can choose that is entitled Record the Meeting Automatically on the Local Computer. If you select that, anything that happens during Zoom after you start the session is going to automatically be recorded and saved onto your computer, your laptop, or whatever device that it is that you're working on. So that's a way to have that automatically default set up so that as soon as you start the Zoom session, it begins to record. Okay, so when we enter the meeting, it'll ask you to join with computer audio again, and you'll notice at the bottom of the screen that where the record button was, we have a pause and stop recording. That's because we selected that option that automatically began to record our Zoom session. So here at the bottom, you'll have the option to pause the recording. So basically what that does is if, again, you're recording at home, you're recording your lecture, things are going fine, and there's some disruption that happens, a dog busts in, starts barking, and you want to stop the recording so that's not found in the file version, you just hit the pause button, settle what's ever going on in the background, and you can hit the pause button again to resume recording. And so when students play back that video, it will skip that whole portion seamlessly. Okay, so it does that will basically allow you to edit on the fly without having to go into post-production and using video editing software to cut out any mistakes or anything that you've made. So that is the pause and resume recording button. Beside that is the stop recording button, and that's going to end the recording for this session, and it's going to save that recording as one single file. If you go back and hit the recording button again, it will start recording, but it's going to create another file in a folder on your computer, so you'll end up having two recordings for one session. So just be aware that if you hit the stop recording and you, by accident, and you want to go back in and continue recording, you'll have to hit the record button, but again, you'll be left with two files for that one session. And that might be a good way to break up longer Zoom sessions or lectures if you don't want them to be recorded in one long, continuous hour-long session. You want to break them up into 20-minute sessions. You could hit the stop button there, and that would create those separate files. So just so that you're aware that those are options that you have available to you. Now, once you finish, and okay, we have that here. Let's skip ahead in the video here so we're at the same spot. Now, question, how do you get to your video file after you're done recording? Where does your video file saved? Well, once you hit end meeting, the video recording is going to be stopped, and you'll see your computer should automatically pop up an Explorer window that shows you directly where the file is saved. You'll see on the screen that there's two MP4 files, which are video files, And in this case, there were 2 recordings. Now this is where you can take those recordings and rename them to whatever is, best defines the lecture. And now that you have them in this spot, you can then provide links to your students in a number of ways so that they can access those videos. So we're going to stop this video and we're going to show you one of the ways that you can upload the video in D2L from here. And also, as a side note, we do have written down exactly where on your computer system the files are by default saved. They're different on Mac than they are on PC, but they are automatically saved in one certain spot on your computer. So we'll post that as well for you to be able to access easily in case you exit out of this pop-up window. Okay, so I'm going to move over to D2L. I have a little bit of time here to show this. Now, like I mentioned, there are 2 primary ways that you can share these videos with your students after you're done recording them. One of the ways is to upload your video into YouTube and share the students that YouTube link. Yes, it's an extra step, but it does provide more accessibility options, and it lessens the strain of the servers on campus. So if you upload it to YouTube, they can simply stream it from that YouTube source rather than bogging down our servers with a ton of videos. So preferably the best way to upload and share videos with your students is through YouTube. And by doing that, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on talking you through setting up a YouTube account, but because you have hack sign-on, you automatically have access to Google products and platforms. So you'll just have to go into YouTube and click on create a post or video, and essentially just drag your file, your video file, and drop it into that spot. There are a few options you'll select to rename it, and you'll be given a link. And with that link, you can share it in your D2L shell. Now, that's the best way to share the content with your students. I know we haven't really looked at D2L yet. We will look at D2L in the future in a little in more depth. But essentially, what you'll do is go into your content area, and you'll have a number of ways to share this link out to students. So if you click the new option, you'll see that you can create a link. That's one of the ways. And what you do is title it, and you can paste that YouTube link in this section. And you have the choice to open it as an external resource or allow it just to play within the D2L shell. Once you hit create, you'll see here it is. It exists in the window, and this is what students will see. It's built seamlessly right into D2L. So when they go through and they look at their modules, they'll see it appear right here. So that's the one way to share your videos with students. Another way, if you don't want to use the YouTube option, you can click new, and there is an option for video or audio, and you hit that. Again, it's going to ask you for the URL code, or you can upload your video from that spot on your drive where the Zoom video was recorded. So I don't have one open here, but essentially it'd be as simple as dragging and dropping the video into this section and hitting save, and it would show up in this D2L area just like the YouTube link did. So again, we don't have a ton of time to kind of walk you through all of those steps, but those are the options that are available for uploading the Zoom sessions to students. And we do have step-by-step instructions and videos created in the FRC that outline all of those options for you. Again, yes, we are also available Thursday, Friday for one-on-one Zoom meetings, and we can walk you through individually how to make those things happen. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. we're here. That's what we're here to do, is to support you in going remotely. So if you don't feel like you need to struggle with this, there's a lot of people out here to support you. So feel free to reach out to any of us at CDI, and we can walk you through those steps in getting you set up and uploading those videos into your D2L shell. So I'll take a couple minutes to field questions before we move on to the next section.
Question about the size, how large size of the recorded file. We talked about that yesterday.
Okay, so the question was about the size of the video. Chi-Tran developed a, he wrote down some notes here that I'm going to pull up on the screen because he did a little research on uploading these videos and what some of the limitations are with that. So give me 1 second to pull this back up again for you, just to kind of get the right information for you here. Okay. So one thing that Chi-Tran noticed was that it does take time for Zoom to create those recordings once it's done. If it's a long recording, a 1-hour video, he noted that it can take up to 20 minutes for that video to be recorded or converted into the file that you can use. So just be patient. If it doesn't pop up immediately, be aware that it could take time for the application to process that file and have it ready for you. Okay, the file size, typically a 1-hour file would be 200 megabytes in size, which is reasonably small. It shouldn't really cause too much shouldn't bog your computer down too much if you have a lot of these files. But again, make sure you're utilizing your Google Drives to back up your videos. It's a good place that you can access all of your materials when you're not on campus. We do all have access to Google Drive, so you can put your videos up there, you can put your files up there, and it's another great way to access those files remotely from any computer with the internet. So you don't need a VPN, you don't need the remote desktop to access those drives. You could do it from anywhere, any device with Wi-Fi. Any other questions?
Questions about the YouTube videos, do they become public or are they only be available to your students?
Okay, so another great question was the YouTube videos. Are they made public to everybody or are they only available to your students? And those are settings that you can define yourself when you upload the video into YouTube. You'll be given the option to choose whether or not those videos are public or private, and you can share those links out based on those criteria. So if you don't want the whole world to see your YouTube video, you can make that private, but you have to provide that link to the students. You'll see that it's an option, just like sharing a Google Doc, that anyone with the link will be able to access that video. So as long as the students have that video, they should be able to access it. Of course, Joe mentions, he brings up a good point. We can't stop students from sharing that link out to other people, but making it private will minimize the amount of people that will see it. It won't be sent out globally, and it won't be searchable if it is set under private.
Peter asked, how do we best reach out to you?
How to best reach out to me? That's a great question too, and we'll put that up in the slide. But my email is jcbarrie, B-A-R-R-I-E, @hack.edu. So you can reach out to me through email. I can put that into the chat session right here for you to have. And again, we'll post that on one of the slides at the end of the session so that you can reach out to us anytime. And you can set up an appointment. You can ask a question through email, and we can do a phone call or a Zoom session, any way that you feel comfortable reaching out. And I can give you help along the way through any part of your remote teaching experiences.
why might we opt to save the videos to our computer hard drive versus saving to YouTube? Advantages and disadvantages.
So the question is, what are the advantages to saving the videos to your computer hard drive versus saving them to YouTube? I think there's more advantages in uploading them to YouTube for a number of reasons. One of the advantages is that once you have it uploaded to YouTube, it's there while you have that link forever. So students can access it at any time, unless, of course, you take the video down or disable the video. Whereas if you just store it simply on your computer, if your hard drive crashes, something like that happens, you lost your video. So it's another way to back up the video. Also, it's a lot easier to send out a YouTube link to a video to multiple people, whether it be through email or D2L, than it is to send a whole video file out to people. Also, that could cause a lot of problems for students. You wouldn't want to send a huge video file out to all of your students because it could cause problems when they're attempting to download that large video file. Could take them a long time. They might not have the Wi-Fi bandwidth to support downloading such large videos, whereas streaming isn't such a burden on their Wi-Fi at home. So YouTube really is the best option to sending and sharing out those videos to your students.
How students find me on YouTube? By my name or email?
Question is, how will students find me on YouTube? Through the name or through the email? Well, one of the ways is if you have your YouTube links in D2L, once they click on that link, they'll be taken to YouTube, and I'll see if I can share this with you, and you'll be able to see the user who posted that YouTube video. So from there, they can just click on that user. So once they go navigate to this screen, they'll see who posted it. So I posted this video. Once you click on my name, you'll see all the videos that I created. I only have 2 up here now, but this is a good spot for them to access all of the videos that you upload from there. So you don't really have to specifically send them a link to finding your name. Once you send that, you can do that. You can share with them your YouTube account ID, but probably the quickest way to do that is to just have them go to a YouTube video and click on your name to go access all the other videos that they have on YouTube.
Next question, probably too advanced, but is there any way that we can take 2 videos and pack 4 into one YouTube session?
So the question is there a way to take the 2 videos that we recorded and stitch them together into one YouTube session? It's possible, but you'd have to use another video editing program to make that happen. It doesn't, that capability doesn't exist in YouTube itself. So you'd need another program like iMovie, Adobe Premiere, some video editing software, Camtasia, some other video editing software that would allow you to drag and drop those 2 files in and then export them as one longer file.
Okay, so the video is recorded, but I don't have time to store it on YouTube now. Can I do it later?
So the question is, the video is recorded, but I don't have time to store it on YouTube now. Can I do it later? It's a great question. Yes, you can. So since you have that video file downloaded onto your computer, it's there now. It's saved in that folder, and unless something terrible happens to your computer and you lose everything, it'll be there forever unless you delete it. So you can wait. You can go do your grocery shopping. Well, maybe not these days. You might want to avoid, but you can come back at another time. You can go into your YouTube account, drag and drop it into the YouTube account to upload the file at any point after the video is recording. It doesn't have to be done immediately.
I like the idea of creating a unique YouTube link for each course. How do you do that? Is that something covered in the docs already available?
So the question is, can you create a unique YouTube link for each course and share that out to students? Again, you can share out your own YouTube channel to students, so then they'd have access to all of the videos there. You could alternatively create a YouTube playlist where you include a number of different videos in one playlist and send them that playlist link. But again, probably best practice is to store your YouTube links on D2L. That way the students have them all organized in that one central place. So I'm running out of time here, so we're going to move on to the next section. Thank you guys for your participation in the questions. We will try to answer all of those questions for you. And again, don't hesitate to reach out to us for any training or any support along the way. So we're going to call on Joe, and he's going to deliver the section on Brightspace D2L and how you can set up your home page in D2L for remote teaching.